Take number 18. You turned off the air because it was making too much noise. Now I'm overheating.
You having a hot flash?
I am. Shut up. I am not 40 yet. I do not have hot flashes.
Okay. I feel like I'm going cross-eyed. My eyes are tired.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode number 1, Broken to Beautifully Blended podcast. Got to do something about that name. It's B2BB. I don't know. I can't keep track of the acronym. I can't keep track of the title either. I just call it Beautifully Blended because I'm lazy. But welcome to episode number 1. Say hello.
Hello.
She's not a robot, y'all, I promise. But
it is 4 minutes to 11. This is probably take 18 or so.
It's not take 18.
How many is it?
It's like 4.
Oh, no. Mm-mm.
It's like 4. We guess we should tell you who we are. I'm Rockford. This is April. And we are the Todds. We have the Todd Squad, which I'm fairly sure we were using it long before Pastor Michael Todd out of Tulsa. So I'm just saying, Pastor, I love you. Love your messages. But we are the Todd Squad. And there's more of us than there are of you. So there's 7 of us in total. So, but I think you still have some time to catch us, although I don't know if you will. However, stamped it, trademarked it, registered it. Todd Squad belongs to us. So I'm Rockford again. This is April. We have 5 children together between us. Allison, Jaden, Reagan, Thomas, and Lauren. They are between the ages of 19 and 13, I think.
Yep.
Okay, good.
2 more weeks and that won't be the case. Well, I guess it'll still be the case.
I don't.
But we'll have a birthday in 2 weeks.
That's true. Math escaped you for a moment, huh?
No. It's 11 o'clock at night.
I thought you were a night owl.
I am until I got to do something in front of the camera.
Yeah.
I can do the research and that stuff, but...
Yeah, don't start trying to get her to talk to people because then she clams up.
I'm not clamming up. I'm letting him do the intro, letting you know that this is a podcast to encourage, engage the blended families that are out there. There's a lot of us, and we know exactly how difficult it can be to be in a blended family. We've had highs and lows and everything in between.
Are you high?
No, not high.
No drugs. Say no to drugs.
No drugs. We've had medical crisis. We've had near divorce. We've had fights. We've had good times. We've got a family adventure cottage in our driveway. I mean, all aspects of anything and everything blended family.
Blended families. So, let's tell you about our blend. Allison is 19. She graduated high school a couple of years ago. She's now going to school I guess it's called, she's going to cosmetology school.
Right. Not
going to school for cosmetology. You would think I would know that, but I don't. But she did give me a haircut last night. I had to get all cleaned up for the new podcast. And so I figured I'd let her, have some practice on me, which is a big deal because I'm very particular about my haircuts. So, as you can tell, I have to be. It's starting to go further and further back on my head.
It's fine.
So, after Allison is Jaden. Jaden will be 18 in a couple of weeks.
2 weeks.
She's a senior in high school. I think her plans are to go to Oklahoma State University whenever she's done, and she wants to be a physical therapist maybe. Although I don't know that that's exactly what she's going to end up doing because I believe that she's still trying to figure out what God's called her to be.
I think it'll be ministry.
You think so? I wonder what kind of ministry.
I don't know. She was pretty on fire last night with her Bible study here.
Yeah. She does a good job of encouraging her friends to spend more time in the Word. So, you know, we'll see what God has for her. Next is Reagan. Reagan is the middle child.
She's the girl on fire.
Girl on fire?
Yeah.
She's on fire?
She's going places.
Huh. Reagan is different than the other kids. I think some of that's because she's the middle child, but I think she wants to be an architect when she grows up, which is getting here all too rapidly. She seems to think she wants to be a big city girl, wants to live, you know, like in New York City or someplace like that, and I've tried to encourage her that you're not real sure what that's going to be like. So maybe a trip to New York City will be in our future at some point to say, hey, is this really what you want to do?
Maybe on the way to Youth X in July.
I don't know about that, but South Carolina and New York City, that's not exactly a straight line. So we'll see what happens with that. Maybe. It's one of those blended family discussions is coming up, I think. Anyway, after Reagan is Thomas. Thomas is the only boy besides me in the house, and he is 14, and he has his work cut out for him with all these girls.
Did you mention really quick that Reagan was 16? I know you said she was the middle kid.
I don't know. She's 16. She's got her driver's license, but she doesn't have a car yet. She has to share with Jaden.
Oh, the hardship.
So you can understand how that might go with two girls that are in their teenage years. We'll see. Maybe she'd get a car soon. Anyway, Thomas, 14, only boy, really sort of coming into his own right now. This year he started taking ag classes at school, and part of that he's showing a pig, Skitsy the pig.
Skitsy the pig.
Mom and Thomas have done the bulk of the work with this deal. They get up in the mornings, they go over and feed the pig. They go over in the afternoons and feed the pig. And Thomas cleans out the pen because, as I'm sure you're aware, pigs are a mess. And so he's really done well.
A little funny side note from today's adventure at the farm. Skitsy was upset and she started kicking up her wood chips, and then Thomas started gagging. I said, what are you doing? Skitsy had kicked nasty wood chips up into his mouth, and so he was heaving over the side of the pit. It was awesome.
So tip for Thomas and anybody else that might be watching, if you're going to be working around a pig, keep your mouth shut. We give sound advice on this podcast. So and then last but not least is Lauren. Lauren is 13, and Lauren has a bit of a mind of her own. She is, I don't know, she's a lot like her dad. So, as you might be able to tell, we can be a bit sarcastic at times, and so that can be a bit much to handle for her and for us as parents. There's times that you really would like to strangle her, but other times you see the real genuine love that she has for others. And so all of these kids are very different, and it's been a unique situation for us to figure out how to make it all work together. Just in another note about how it all works out, the breakdown is the three blonde girls, Jaden, Reagan, and Lauren, came with me, and Allison and Thomas both came with April. And so we have 5 children all together. Wow. And that's not all that lives here, right? We have animals too. Who do we have?
We have Pepper, who is a 9. He wants me to say this because he would be sarcastic. It's a 9-year-old Shiatsu. How do you say it?
I say it different than that.
Yes, you do. And we have Sadie, who is at my feet right now, and I'm surprised she didn't jump up whenever she heard my let me say her name, but she is a 2-year-old chocolate lab. She is 80 pounds, and whenever she is up and not laying at my feet, she would be able to be seeing her little eyeballs here. So I'm sure you'll be seeing them as well.
Yeah, she won't stay still for long.
Mm-mm.
However, that's us. That's us in a nutshell. We are...
Well, that's not really us. We didn't talk about who we are. So you...
Who am I?
You're Rockford. Tell me a little bit about your family growing up.
My family's pretty nuts.
That's not what I mean.
Oh.
Everybody's family's pretty nuts.
Oh, okay. I get it. You want me to be real?
Yeah.
Okay. So, growing up, I had what you would call a pretty normal childhood. My folks were together until I was 21. They finally got divorced at that time after like 36 years of marriage. It's crazy. But looking back over my life as a child, I mean, they were a normal couple. We did normal things. I have an older sister who is 8 years older than me. And so once she left the house, when I guess she graduated high school in 1985, I was sort of like an only child for a long time. And so, you know, one thing that I think was a little bit different and might have felt different at the time, my dad took an early retirement in 1989, and so we actually didn't all live together for most of my high school career. We went to California for a while, where my mom is from, and that really didn't work out for our family, so we came back, and you know, my dad decided that he was not quite done teaching, so he took a job in Las Vegas for a year. My mom and I stayed here in Oklahoma. He went to Las Vegas. Did that for 1 year. He came back for a year when I was a junior and did some work around here. And then when I was a senior in high school, he took a job in Arkansas. And so it was me and my mom for the most part throughout my high school career. And then after I got to college, like I said, I think I was 21, they divorced. My dad has since, excuse me, I had an itchy schnoz. My dad has remarried. He had married a wonderful woman named Anne, and Anne has become a second mother to me and to my sister, and I think to April and then everybody in our family. And it's quite interesting how close Anne and my mother actually are. I would call them friends. I think they have learned to get along, and they actually depend on one another's company and advice and input. And so we have, over the years, developed a close family, even though my parents have split. So all in all, I would say that we have adjusted to life of divorce from my generation, mine and my sisters. We all do family gatherings together, Christmas, Thanksgiving, you know, whenever there's a special day, birthdays and stuff, we get together. We do it all as one family. We don't go celebrate with Dad and his wife and Mom. We do it all together.
Why is that?
I don't, you know, you think looking back, when my folks first got divorced, now we did spend a couple of years doing them separate. And my sister and I were like, this is not going to work. We're not going to be traipsing kids all over the country just because you guys didn't want to stay married. And so we sort of forced them into it. And the first few were a little awkward. But after that, it got much, much easier, much, much better. And now today, I would say that as far as family gatherings are concerned, we have a pretty normal family. At least it seems normal to us. It may not be to anybody else. And I can certainly understand that there are people out there that, you know, their reality is different than that. And we have experienced that some even in this family unit as well. I can say that I don't think that we're going to be getting together with exes anytime soon to celebrate the holidays, but there are times that we do get together for the sake of the kids. And so,
well, there's been times like Allison's prom and her graduation that we came together, and her dad was here and was able to share in that day, and he came in and participated. But I think it changes once there's grandkids. So I came from a family that have two older brothers. One is 19 months older, one's 34 months older. And my parents split whenever I was 5. And then my mom was not in the picture for a while. She came back, and Sadie is groaning about that. She came back, and now we have a very similar situation to Rockford's family. My mom and my stepfather, they usually host any event that is coming except for 4th of July. My sister-in-law does that. And my dad attends as well, and everybody is together. And it was very difficult as I was growing up because there was a lot of hurt feelings just in my parents. And then whenever I actually gave birth to Allison, that was the first time that you could see that reconciliation in their relationship, because my dad made the statement that they were going to be in each other's lives forever. It wasn't just until I was 18. And so they have, since Allison was born, which this was our 20th Christmas, we've done Christmas together, Thanksgiving together, 4th of July. Everybody has been together. That being said, I also have one sister from each of my parents. I have one from my dad, one from my mom, and then my stepfather has a son and a daughter. That the son's older than me, daughter's younger, so I'm the middle, technically, of 7. I'm also the oldest girl. I'm also the youngest of my natural family, so I got a whole bunch of different things that go on with me whenever we have little spats here with our kids, because like Rockford said earlier, he was pretty much an only child. And so whenever our kids start to fight, he'll go, I don't know if that's normal. And I can tell him from just being a sibling unit and then having steps and then having half siblings that are blended in, that it's normal. It is, especially whenever they're that close in age. There is going to be friction. Just have to make sure nobody dies.
Close in age and probably looking to establish who's the favorite. That comes up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So
I say it all the time. Thomas is my favorite boy. Allison's my favorite brown-headed girl. Jaden is my favorite senior. They're all my favorite at something.
That usually doesn't go over as well as she thinks it does, but
I don't have to actually answer the question.
In a court of law, that would probably play out the way that she thinks so. I think if April was going to be anything in this world that she's not today, she would be a lawyer.
Oh, yeah. That's what I wanted to be whenever I was growing up.
Yeah. So, anyway, that's sort of where we come from. This being episode number 1, it's also January of 2019, the beginning of a new year. Coming out of 2018, 2018 was a very interesting year for us as a family. You know, we went through a period about 4 years ago where we pretty much had decided we were getting divorced, and then let me rephrase. I had decided we were getting divorced, and the Lord really changed our hearts and helped us to see Him differently, which forced us to see each other differently, and really, really changed the trajectory of our lives. And we'll get into a whole lot more of that in the coming weeks and months about what we've been through in that situation. However, things were going really well, chugging along, and then we got into 2018, and we had quite a year. In 2018, we changed jobs. I had the opportunity to change full-time job. I had been working for Oklahoma State for 11 years, and really felt like the Lord was calling me to do something different, to step out of my comfort zone a bit. And I sort of battled back and forth with that decision for about 4 or 5 months. And then on June 1, started a new job. We did sell a business. We really believed a couple of years ago that we needed to get, or were being called to get, a fifth wheel so that we could spend time with our kids out doing something other than just being on technology and driving down a 4-lane highway and eating at McDonald's. I mean, that was sort of what our kids thought America was. And so we said, well, that's not really what it is. And so once we started down that path, we went to several RV shows, and we actually bought the truck that we have to pull the fifth wheel, and somehow ended up in the snow cone business with a snow cone trailer and concession trailer. Anyway, it was quite a detour, but we did sell that business in 2018. We got the fifth wheel in 2018, planned a big summer vacation. We took the thing to the East Coast, took the family whitewater rafting in Tennessee. It was an amazing trip.
Yeah.
And I think it was pretty life-changing for the kids, and pretty eye-opening for us. Got home, and April lost her job, and a couple of the kids felt like they really needed to do some rebelling. And with the change in my job, it really wasn't quite what I was hoping it was going to be whenever it changed. In the end, the last half of 2018 was really trying for our family in a lot of ways. And it really put some pressure on us as a married couple. It put pressure on us as parents. I think it really might have even put some pressure on the kids as to whether are we really a tight family unit, or are we just people that exist here together? So luckily enough, it appears that things are sort of coming around full circle. Not losing faith in what God's called us to do or what God's called us to be has led to this. It has given April opportunity to continue doing what she enjoys doing in real estate. My job is coming around. It is actually becoming a lot more comfortable, a lot more of what I would expect it to be. And so, God is good. He is continuing to develop our faith, develop our trust. And so, as a family, we're expecting big things in 2019.
And I can say, as you begin to know us a little bit better, you'll understand the differences between Rockford and my personality. I am an entrepreneur. I have a much higher optimism level than Rockford can seem to have. And it is, I want to be very clear, I did not lose my job. I was released. It was one thing that we were praying about, and God released me from that. And it is because He does have bigger and better things for this, and then also for some entrepreneurship coaching opportunities that I have coming up in 2019. And I just want to make a note. Rockford's truck's name is Haas, and we have adventuring. We have a page that we put out. The kids do vlogs for our friends, and it is called the Todd Squad. Again, Todd Squad, adventuring in the Haas-drawn cottage.
We have something for long titles.
We do. We know nobody's going to go in and mistakenly find us.
In the world of marketing online, that's probably not the best thing.
Well, we can use tags.
That's true. Anyway, we hope that you will take the time to invest in seeing what's coming up on the podcast. We will do our best to be entertaining and to be informative. As we get into this and we get more into the story of who we are and what God's called us to, I think that you will find encouragement for your situation and for your family. Blended families are not easy. Marriage in general is not easy. But at least if you're getting married in a quote unquote normal situation, you have time to develop your marriage, just the two of you. But when you do it as a blended family, it's sort of the term, what is it, instant family? I see you say I do, and then it's, hey, let's shove all of you into a house and see what happens. And it can be a bit of a tumbler.
Well, and you know, we do a lot of learning as a couple. Rockford learns some things, I learn other things. And we together 4 years ago started working on this relationship. And one of the things that we have seen out there for blended families is they call it a slow cooker. But that has not been our experience. It was more of an Instapot pressure cooker. And so you have to either know how to use the pressure cooker to get something delicious, or it's going to blow up.
Yeah. So anyway, over the coming weeks and months, we want you to come along with us. We have opportunities for you to invest in your marriage and in your family outside of this. And just to be clear, probably should have said this up front. We are not licensed therapists in any way. We're not here to give you medication. We aren't here to prescribe anything. We are here to encourage you. If you have need for a licensed therapist, I think we can probably point you in the right direction, but we are not therapists. So
we are an entrepreneur and an engineer.
And a pretty salty one at that.
Which one, entrepreneur or engineer?
I don't know. You'll have to figure it out.
Well, and we are here to be very authentic. It's what we feel like God has called us to do, to shed some light on this subject, because there is such a large, I don't know, what is it? Demographic void. There's such a large need for it. Whenever we started looking, there really wasn't anything for us to get straight to what it was that we needed. And so that's what we're here to do.
Blended families are hard, they're fun, they're frightening, they are worth it in the end. I think that what you will find as you know us, as you know our kids, is that they know that they are secure with the two of us. Whether they all admit it or not, they see us as their parents. It's not your dad and my mom or vice versa. It is, these are my folks. They've asked us to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to fight for each other. We're going to fight for our family. We're going to make the best out of what we've been handed. And your family can too, but it does take time and it takes effort. So again, we want you to come along with us. We want you to be a part, and we look forward to what God's going to do through this medium for families that are looking to strengthen their bond.
So how can they see the rest of them?
I don't know. There's a subscribe button somewhere.
Somewhere. We don't know where.
Well, it's different on every device. So, you know, I feel like I should have probably practiced that part of this, because, you know, when you listen to polished podcasts, they know exactly where to point on the screen and tell you where to go up, down, left, right. Anyway.
I bet not on episode 1.
I don't know. Maybe not.
We'll see.
Some people are professionals. We are not. Anyway, we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us on Broken to Beautifully Blended.
Bye.